I do or die for this shit. I flooded all my chains because they want me in the grave. They don't want me rich.
But I'm coming so hard. Everything's through the roof. Everything.
What's happening with your mob? This the 10 most infamous black mob bosses. I hope Big Meech is definitely got to be one. Big Meech, filthy rich. You feel me? But let's get into it.
In every community, a backdrop of organized crime unveils a history that includes notorious figures. The black community, too, has its share of formidable characters, often referred to as the Lions of Underworld. These individuals, fueled by a deep-seated resentment towards poverty and the racial injustices of their era, defied the odds to emerge as mob bosses in their own right. Establishing criminal organizations that amassed significant wealth, their stories are not just about financial success, but also about earning respect in the process. Join us in these videos as we delve into the narratives of the 10 most infamous black mob bosses. Number 10, Jeff Fort. This guy, known as Jeff 4, wielded an iron fist and hailed from Chicago's South Side. He commanded respect and fear not only from the black community, but from anyone in that district. Born into poverty, found solace and strength within the close-knit streets of Bronzeville, where survival often required navigating a web of crime. Four's rise to power commenced when he established the Black P. Stones gang in the late 1950s, driven by a desire to protect the community against systemic oppression. However, as the 60s unfolded, so did Four's ambitions. The gang transformed into a formidable criminal organization, with Four at its helm. His strategic acumen and magnetic leadership style enabled him to unite rival factions under the Black P. Stones banner. As the gang gained notoriety, so did Four's influence. He skillfully played the game, forming alliances and outsmarting law enforcement. Four's charisma, combined with a keen business sense, allowed him to control vast swaths of the city's drug trade. His empire extended beyond crime. Four proclaimed himself a community leader, merging his criminal enterprise with social activism. Number 9, Guy Thomas Fisher.
They all look like they was.
Guy Thomas Fisher, a notorious figure in the criminal underworld, gained infamy as a Harlem drug lord during the tumultuous era of the 1980s, marked by the crack cocaine epidemic that gripped urban America. Born on September 5, 1947, Fisher's early life was characterized by the challenges of growing up in the tough streets of Harlem. His entry into the criminal world was influenced by the socioeconomic conditions and systemic issues that plagued the African American community during that period. In the midst of the crack epidemic, Fisher skillfully navigated the gritty and dangerous landscape of New York City, using his street smarts to establish himself as a formidable mobster in the narcotics trade. His criminal empire became a symbol of audacity and ruthlessness, with Fisher fearlessly taking on even the notorious Italian mafia, a feat that few dared to attempt. This fearless confrontation with established criminal organizations underscored Fisher's determination and solidified his reputation as a unique force within the criminal underworld. His ability to adapt to the changing dynamics of the drug trade and exploit emerging markets contributed to the expansion of his criminal enterprise. The 1980s witnessed Fisher orchestrating a vast and intricate drug distribution network that flooded the streets with illicit substances, contributing to the escalation of the crack epidemic. Number 8, Casper Holstein. Casper Holstein, a mysterious figure in the history of organized crime, carved his name into the annals as a pioneering Harlem mobster during the Prohibition era. Hailing from the Virgin Islands, Holstein, an Afro-Caribbean man, emerged as a key player in the illicit liquor trade, navigating the tumultuous landscape of 1920s New York. In stark contrast to the violence associated with many mobsters, Holstein gained notoriety through his shrewd business acumen. Dubbed the Bolito King, he operated covert lotteries, offering a glimmer of hope and financial relief to Harlem's impoverished residents.
What's that mean?
Holstein astutely exploited loopholes in the legal system, eschewing the violent tendencies of other mobsters while amassing wealth and influence. Holstein's criminal empire stood out for its sophistication and commitment to the community. He invested in education and social programs, aspiring to uplift Harlem during a period marked by racial strife and economic hardship. Despite his illicit activities, he earned respect for his philanthropic endeavors and cultural contributions. He was the godfather of Harlem at that time. Everyone was looking for help from Holstein. Number 7, Larry Hoover. Enter
How
the
many
world
Godfathers
of
of
Larry
Harlem
Hoover,
is it?
a heavyweight in organized crime
Yeah, Larry
who carved
Hoover's
out a
definitely in
notorious
here.
reputation
I'm
as
like
the
5
top
seconds behind
dog
because I
of
had
the
an ad. Y'all
Gangster
want me to get an ad
Disciples,
though.
a formidable gang hailing from the gritty streets of Chicago. Hoover, an African-American, found himself deeply entangled in the harsh challenges faced by inner-city communities. In the late 1960s, Hoover transformed the Gangster Disciples into a powerful
back then,
force
though,
involved in a spectrum of
wasn't-
criminal activities, including
wasn't
drug
really
trafficking,
gangs. They was-
racketeering, and violence.
It was organized.
His leadership
I mean, like, you know what I'm
style
saying? Like, it's different
blended
than it is
charm
now.
with an aura of intimidation, solidifying his
started off with just
reputation
squabbling,
on the
you feel me?
gritty
And then it
streets of
started to
Chicago. The story
then
takes a
that
twist in
situation
1973 when Hoover is
situation
arrested,
escalated to more than what
but
it
that
should have
didn't
been,
put
you
an
feel
end
me?
to his influence.
And that's what it was.
From behind
So that's how it
bars, he
started.
continued to
It
pull
didn't-
strings,
this new
solidifying
generation
his
ain't started
status
the-
as a legendary figure in the underworld.
the killing, you
Some
feel me?
supporters
It was
argue
the-
that paradoxically,
the older
Hoover aimed to
generation
address
started
the
it, and
problems
it
in his
continued,
community,
you know what I'm saying?
even pushing for change from the
That's what happened.
confines of prison.
When the people who
Number
created
6,
it died
Bumpy Johnson.
or got locked up
In the gritty
and had
streets
no
of
connection to the outside
Harlem,
world, then
a
that's what happened.
legendary figure
Man,
emerged
I'm still
from the
watching
shadows. A man
Godfather
known
Harlem.
as Bumpy Johnson.
See, he the
Born
Godfather Harlem
Ellsworth
too, though.
Raymond Johnson in 1905, Bumpy was a sharp-dressed, street-savvy character who became a prominent figure in the criminal underworld during the early to mid-20th century. What set Bumpy apart was not just his
Well, if
cunning
you really
wit,
got two
but also
dudes
the fact
clapped.
that he was a black man navigating a predominantly white mobster world. Bumpy was no small-time player. He rose to prominence during the Prohibition
smart.
era,
Hey,
making
y'all
a
gotta
name
read
for
his
himself in illegal
autobiography.
activities like
He
gambling,
took out
racketeering,
some
and
mob,
numbers games.
He took out
His suave
a few
demeanor and
Italian mob
strategic
bosses.
mind
Like,
made him a
he
force
bad.
to be reckoned with.
That boy,
Bumpy's
man.
criminal empire
He
reached
took
its
out a
peak
few
during the
Italian
Harlem Renaissance,
gangs,
where he
as a matter
ran
of
the
fact.
numbers game,
Like, he
a form of
dismantled
illegal
them.
lottery
I ain't
with
gonna
an
lie.
iron fist. Despite his criminal activities, Bumpy was a complex character who was both feared and respected. He was known for his generosity within the community, earning him a Robin Hood-like reputation. While some saw him as a criminal mastermind, others saw him as a community leader, providing for those
One of
who
his
needed
right-hand man
help.
was a sniper.
Number 5, Jameker
Smooth
Thompson.
sniper at that.
In the gritty world of
Like a
organized
military
crime,
sniper.
where men often dominate the scene, one woman managed to carve her own path to notoriety. Jameker Queenie Thompson, a name that sends shivers down the spines of those who know her story, stands as the only woman on the list of
Bro,
infamous
why do I
black
keep getting
mobsters.
ads on my side,
Her
bro?
journey
I
from the
can't. I'm
mean
not.
streets to the pinnacle of criminality
now I'm 10
is a
seconds
tale
behind.
that resonates with audacity and cunning. Known for her sharp mind and street savvy, Thompson orchestrated a criminal empire that reached its zenith in the 80s and 90s. Her illicit operations spanned drug trafficking and money laundering, earning her the title of the Queenpin. Thompson's cunning maneuvers allowed her to accumulate substantial profits, reaching staggering figures that solidified her status as a true heavyweight in the criminal underworld. Number 4, Felix Mitchell. Felix Mitchell, a notorious figure in the streets of Oakland during the 80s, was a legendary drug kingpin whose influence stretched far beyond the block.
I never knew it was
Born
a
in
black
1954, Mitchell quickly rose to prominence as the leader of the notorious 69 Mob, a gang deeply entrenched in the drug trade. Mitchell's empire dominated the crack cocaine epidemic, earning him both infamy and respect in the underworld. With a sharp business mind, he orchestrated a network of dealers, earning the nickname Felix the Cat.
You know something about
for his
6ix9ine
elusive
Mob? Let me
nature.
know.
The streets buzzed with talk of his charisma and cunning as he navigated the dangerous waters of Oakland's criminal landscape. However, Mitchell's reign came to a tragic end in 1986 when he was gunned down in a federal halfway house. Despite his criminal legacy, his impact on street culture endures, immortalized in hip-hop lyrics. Number 3, Frank Matthews. Frank Matthews, aka the Black Caesar, rose from the gritty streets of Durham, North Carolina to become one of the most elusive and mysterious drug kingpins in American history.
He ain't never
In the
got
late
caught.
1960s and early 70s, Matthews built a narcotics empire that stretched from the East Coast to the Midwest, making him the original ghost
That
in the
man
game.
got away with, I think they
Known
said
for
10
his
plus
sharp
million.
wit
I don't
and
know
street
how much money
smarts,
he got away with.
Matthews
He could've got
navigated
away
the
with
drug
like 20
trade with
million now.
courage, eluding law enforcement at
Back
every
then,
turn.
But back
He was a
then,
mastermind,
10K was
blending
like a
into the
million
urban
back then. It was
landscape like a
worth $1 million.
chameleon, earning the respect of both allies and adversaries. In 1973, facing mounting legal troubles, Matthews vanished without a trace, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in mystery. To this day, the whereabouts of the Black Caesar remain unknown, cementing his status as a legend of the streets and a symbol of urban resilience. Number 2, Nicky
He
Barnes.
vanished without a trace. I wonder what happened to him. Look, 20K reward.
Nicky Barnes, Harlem's infamous
don't even-
Mr. Untouchable,
they never found
emerged
him.
as a legendary figure in the 70s drug scene.
Dang, he was born in 44.
Born in 1933, Barnes orchestrated one of the most
Yeah.
lucrative heroin operations, cementing his status as a formidable player in the underworld. A mastermind with a street-savvy swagger, Barnes navigated the drug trade's complexities, earning him notoriety and a lifestyle dripping in luxury. His empire, known as the Council,
Why do you all wear
controlled
that?
significant portions of the heroin market. Despite his flamboyant lifestyle, Barnes faced the heat in 1978 when the law caught up with him. His flashy persona crumbled, leading to his cooperation with the authorities, dismantling his own empire to secure a reduced sentence. Number 1, Frank Lucas.
That's
Frank
wild.
Lucas, the Harlem drug kingpin, was like the ultimate boss in the black community's shady history.
Yeah, Frank
Back
Lucas.
in the
yeah.
70s, he ran the show, pushing the purest blue magic on
He
the
definitely
streets.
won.
This advertising name is the purest heroin imported directly from Vietnam. This dude
Wait, hold
was
on.
smooth and tricky, sneaking heroin in coffins of dead soldiers during
Where
the
was Big
Vietnam
Meech?
War. People called him Superfly Snuka.
What?
Dressed to the nines and
Where's
sharp
Meech
as a tack,
at?
Lucas hung out with the big shots while secretly ruling the drug game. He once bragged, "I own the cops. They work for me."
That is BS,
But his whole
man.
empire crumbled.
I'm not
when
knocking
detectives
nobody on this
Richie
list. I
Roberts
promise you,
and
I'm not
crew
knocking
exposed him.
nobody on this list.
The movie
Big
American
Meech is
Gangster
definitely
tells
top.
his
Big
crazy
Meech is
story,
definitely
making
top
him a
3.
legend in
I don't
the
care
world of
about
black
none of
crime
that.
bosses.
Big Meech is definitely
Frank
top
Lucas,
3.
the OG who still echoes
Big
through the
Meech
streets.
was making
the
over
Harlem
200
kingpin
million.
of the
He was the
mob's golden
smartest
days.
person to his brother. To his brother, talked on the phone. Big Meech, listen. Big Meech was up there. Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Y'all tweaked out. He held down 3 states. Like, come on now, bro. That's wild, bro. That's wild, bro. That's not even fair, bro. That's not even fair, bro. Bro. Man, I'm mad. They did Big Meech wrong. Alright, bro. Trust the one friend of a guy that's KLM, man. Peace, man.